Quaker Oats is a company known for making tasteless goop with the mouthfeel of dead bugs. Since their founding in 1877, they've marketed their slop with a campaign of morality aimed at parents who want their precious cherubs to grow up big and strong. But in the mid-20th century, they were serving up something much more sinister, something that decidedly isn't a part of this complete breakfast: murder. Well, technically no one died, but with the help of Harvard and MIT, Quaker Oats force-fed radioactive cereal to children. This is the history, according to Cracked. I'm Brian Morabito. Our story begins at this idyllic campus outside of Boston, built in 1888. The Massachusetts School for the Feeble-Minded, not a joke, was regarded as one of the nation's premier asylums for children. In 1925, they corrected their unfortunate moniker, naming it after the big-time eugenicist Walter E. Fernald, who called for the forced sterilization of mentally handicapped and the poor. The sprawling facilities of the newly named Fernald State School featured all the amenities you'd expect from a state-run institution headed by an Eisemann villain. Squalor, rampant sexual abuse, a poorly maintained nuclear power plant, and of course, a honeypot scheme to entrap budding scientist nerds. The juvenile prisoner patients at the facility were the perfect lab rats for the gutless dorks from nearby Harvard and MIT. The children were forced to spend their days cramped together in small dormitories under the tutelage of a disgruntled state employee, making them the ideal candidates for nutritional studies. As one scientist put it, quote, "You can't just let them walk around, you have to collect 100% of their excretions." Quaker Oats had funded somewhat less evil experiments here before, so when it was suggested that they pump kids full of radioactive isotopes on behalf of the Department of Energy, they were on board. But how to trick the children into eating the poison? Well, they baited them with, as one subject recalls, quote, "hope along Cassidy mugs, boat rides, and outings to Boston Braves baseball games." And this was all under the guise of joining the Science Club. An MIT researcher later testified that they did that because, quote, "they had to eat a meal, every little drop of it, because you want to be sure they got 100% of the radioactivity. And therefore, quote, wouldn't it be nice to do something for them?" Now, I wanted to speak with one of the perpetrators of this carnival of horrors, so I sat down with the Quaker Oats guy to see what the fucking deal is. Welcome, Mr. Quaker guy.
Hey, thanks for having me here, the Quaker Oats guy.
What's your fucking deal, man?
Okay. Is this about the radiation thing?
Yeah, what else would this be about?
I got a glow up in 2012. Sometimes people like to talk about that.
No, this is about the time you fed radioactive waste to children. What could you possibly have hoped to gain from poisoning babies?
Okay, let's get one thing straight. I was just the money guy, and it was never about the radiation. The government wanted to see how the human body could absorb certain minerals, so we spiked the children's cereal with radioactive isotopes.
You understand that that's not like better, right?
Yeah, saying it out loud, I can see that you would think that. And I thank you for calling me in.
I've got something here I'd like to show you.
Oh, okay. Is this the permission slip?
It is the permission slip that you had parents of your victims sign. It reads, "Dear parent, in previous years we have done some examinations with the purposes of helping to improve the nutrition of our children." Now, do you feel that that accurately categorizes the amount of radiation that you intended to feed their children?
Well, I guess it could have been a bit more forward.
You assure them that they'll receive a, quote, "special breakfast meal that will contain a certain amount of calcium."
Not technically incorrect.
Your son has agreed to volunteer because the boys who belong to the science club have many additional privileges. They get a quart of milk daily. During that time, they are taken to a baseball game and to the beach. Sometimes outside dinners, and they enjoy it greatly.
Look, nobody turned into an X-Man. In fact, studies have shown the amount of radiation these children consumed wasn't harmful.
I'd like to show you one last thing, just for fun. Why don't you go ahead and read that out loud?
Oh. It should be a crime to give...
Look into the camera when you do it, please.
It should be a crime to give children meat 3 times a day.
There it is. Meat is immoral, but 50 chest x-rays worth of radiation, that's totally fine. Well, it's about time to steel cut this oat, man. This has been another episode of whatever we're calling this show. Thank you for watching The History According to Cracked. I'm Brian Morabito. Please like and subscribe. Please. We'll bring the clock back if you know.